Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about how to take all of the promotional stuff that we've put together and actually boil it down and distill it into a 30-day promotional calendar, or at least mark the slots out for what you're going to promote and who you're going to promote it to during a 30-day period. So let's dive in. Now, before we can actually take this calendar and say, here's what we're going to send, we need to kind of talk about the 4 different types of promotions. So there are really types or goals, right? 4 different goals that are achieved by 4 different types of promotions. So the first type of promotion is an activation campaign or an activation promotion. Now, the goal of the activation campaign is to take a large segment of prospects that have never become buyers and make them buyers. So typically an activation campaign is deployed to sell low dollar, low barrier to entry items. Now, the good thing about an activation campaign is it doesn't just have to go to subscribers or prospects who have never purchased. It can also go to prospects that have not purchased in a while. Right? So if you want to go back and focus these types of campaigns on a segment of your database that is anyone who has been a prospect for this long but has not ever purchased, or anyone who hasn't purchased anything in the past, say, 90 days, this is a great campaign to run. All right, an activation campaign, because what we really want to do is convert large chunks of prospects or past buyers into recent buyers, all right? Recent buyers. So you may slot an activation campaign here. Now, we're just kind of marking out this week. So when you see this arrow, don't think that that means, well, we're gonna send an email every day, Sunday to Saturday. We'll talk about frequency and how to figure that out with your particular list and your subscriber base in a video that, here in the future. Now, the next type of campaign is a monetization campaign, and this is pretty self-explanatory. So where the goal of an activation campaign is to activate as many prospects into recent buyers or previous buyers into recent buyers as possible, the goal of a monetization campaign is to make as much money from this campaign as humanly possible. Now, here's a little trick. If you're going to run a monetization campaign, it's best to run an activation campaign either the week before or 2 weeks before the monetization campaign. Here's why. If someone becomes a buyer, especially if they've never purchased anything from you before, and they have a good initial transaction, there's about a 5 times higher likely probability that they will buy again from you and a higher item. So the goal of an activation campaign is to activate prospects to buyers, but if you know you're deploying a monetization campaign, you want as many recent buyers as possible to receive the monetization campaign. So the strategery, if you will, of running these campaigns in proximity to one another is very important. Now, the next type of campaign is a segmentation campaign, right? And this is very, very common. So with segmentation, and we're going to talk a lot about types of segmentation here in a few videos, but with segmentation and your broadcast list or your promotional calendar, you're focusing mainly on interest-based segmentation. Now, a lot of segmentation is manual. You can go in and decide to talk about one thing to a relevant or a related segment of your list or your database. But when we're talking about segmentation as a campaign, we're talking about people that we cannot reach by normal or manual segmentation. So we're going to default to interest-based segmentation. The goal here is to get people to raise their hand if they're interested, and then you only talk to those people moving forward. So those campaigns may be 3 to 5 emails for the entire list, and then the people that took action, you would continue speaking to them because they raised their hand, right? It's a segmentation campaign. That's the goal. And then ideally, in a well put together marketing calendar, you have at least 1 week that's a wild card week. It's absolutely a wild card. Now, what is a wild card? It's for you to try something new. So ideally, you're leveraging as many proven campaigns as you can to your list because you want it to perform. So if you don't have to reinvent the wheel, if you can go back and look historically, especially if you have a mature product line and see what's worked, and you can continue to better that campaign, then you can continue to deploy that. And you can start to predict what that's going to produce, whether it be from income or how many people you're going to activate or how many appointments you're going to get or how many people are going to walk in the door of your store, whatever your customer journey looks like. But we all have to try new things, right? We all have to try new things. So if you think about what we just did with our promotional planning worksheet, we put a number on each month, right? A goal. So here's the way that I look at this. If I keep 1 week open for my goal, typically for me, wildcard's going to be the last month of the week, or the last week of the month, right? Whichever way those go. The last week of the month, and there's a reason. Because I'll know by the last week of the month if I'm on target on revenue. If the assumptions that I've made about the things that go here are actually getting me towards my goal. Now, if I'm at or above my goal, I'm going to try something new. If I'm below my goal, I'm not. I'm going to scrap the wild card and I'm going to come back and run something that I know can help me catch up to whatever my goal was. So these are the 4 types of promotions and how you should think about those when you're plugging them in monthly. So again, with your monthly promotional calendar, we now have a product service catalog, right? You have a sheet for every product and service you have. You know if you've successfully sold it via email, how many mails you've sent, and how long it's been since you've sent them. You now know the goals for every month and what promos you should be plugging in, so you should be writing those in here, assuming it's this month, and you now know here are the types of campaigns that I should be sending. So here's when we're going to break down to the monthly planning. We're going to start with this simple worksheet. How many promos are you going to send this month? Not how many emails, how many promos, right? Are we going to send 4 promotions this month? Are we only going to send 2? Now I'll tell you, if you want to optimize your email list, you will mail at least 1 promotion a week. Now whether that promotion lasts 3 emails or 5 or 7, it's kind of up to you. But if you're not mailing at least 1 promotion a week, then you're not maintaining the highest level of engagement with your email list, and you're not training them that you're going to send them offers, and it's going to come back to result in lower deliverability, higher unsubscribes, and higher spam complaints. So send promotional emails. So for me, number of promos this month is almost always going to be 4. 4 promos. Now, which promo number are we talking about? Now, I'm talking about promo number 1, and for me, the promo is called mattress sale, right? Let's go back to the mattress store. So it's mattress sale. Maybe it's flash sale, right? Because if there's no holiday that I can jump onto, then, and I still want to run a activation campaign, which was flash sale is a great example of an activation campaign, then maybe it's flash sale. It's the sale that needs no excuse because it's a flash, right? I decided to do it. What is the goal of the promo? This is so important as we move forward. The goal of a flash sale is activation primarily. Now, if I'm a mattress store, I know that activation for me is different. Activation is getting people to walk in the door. Now, some of those people that walk in the door are going to go with the cheapest mattress. But I'm going to have some of them that want the Tempur-Pedic. I'm going to have some of them that want the double pillow top. I want some of them that have the Sleep Number. I'm going to have people as a mattress store that vary in revenue, right? That vary in the product they buy. And because I can speak generally to a flash sale, that's okay. So I may have activation with a secondary goal of monetization. I have a reasonable expectation that I will generate revenue from this particular promotion. Okay, so now the list size, okay? List size. This is when you get to make some important decisions. Do I want to send it to my full list? Well, if it's an activation campaign, I may want to send it to my full list. I may want to send it to full list minus recent buyers, or if I'm targeting a specific item, not a general category of sale, I may want to send it to the full list minus anyone who I know has already purchased that item. Right? It does not matter, but I need to kind of say, who is this going to go to? And this will also determine how many promotions I have going this week, right? I may have 1 promotion because I've said this is a big holiday promotion, it's going to my entire database. Or this is a monetization campaign. It's really only relevant to people who have already purchased this product. It's the next logical step in the customer journey. So it's people who have purchased this product that have gone through these triggered campaigns that have not responded. So I'm going, and that makes up a big enough portion of my database that I'm going to run a campaign directly to them and I'm going to broadcast it. Okay. Then at the same time, anyone who hasn't bought that product, I'm going to run an activation campaign. So this is how we break down and optimize a marketing calendar to when we're running potentially 2 or 3 or 4 campaigns a week. Now that may sound exhausting, and it's okay, because I'll tell you, here's how you determine. At some point, you hit the law of diminishing returns, right? If the database or the segment of your database isn't large enough, if you're not dealing with thousands of people, then really what you're doing is splintering focus, right? You're not getting critical mass on any one. So make sure that if it's not a big enough database, if we're not talking thousands of people, or whatever the equivalent is from a percentage-wise of your list, that maybe you roll it back. Maybe you only have 2, right? 2 is a really good number of promos to run unless you have a very diverse, segmented list. So if we're going to run it to the full list, we're going to put that here. Start date, when are we going to start it? How many mails are we going to send? Now, a lot of that depends on the goal and the revenue target, right? The goal and the revenue target. If we're leveraging a proven campaign, we should know this. And if not, we have to at some point make a guess. What do I think this is going to do per email? If the goal for this particular campaign is $100,000 and I believe that each email is going to generate $10,000, then I've got to be willing to send a lot of emails. We're talking 10 emails. If it's 20,000 per email, we're talking 5. So if any of this starts to be off, right, if I don't feel right about sending 10 emails as a broadcast to my entire database to generate $100,000, then I have to say, this isn't reasonable. I can't sell this product to this database and expect this result without talking about it too much, okay? So what's the start date? How many number of mails? What's the projected revenue? Here's a revenue target, here's projected revenue. Obviously, or ideally, those two match up. If not, there needs to be a reasonable expectation as to why you think there's a chance you're going to hit this. Now, in some cases, it may be, this is one of 2 that's running this week. I have 2 major segments of my database, each receiving a different promotion. One of them is going to be responsible for 70% of the target revenue, the other for 30%. That's perfect, absolutely perfect. If not, if you're missing here, you have to ask the question, am I okay with missing? Am I going to make it up next week in that promotion? This is where most people miss. What is a backup promotion? Okay, what's a backup promotion? I'm really, really good at this. We have been in business a very long time, in some companies much longer than Digital Marketer. We miss all the time. No one wins all the time. Even if you're leveraging proven campaigns, you miss. Now, you can miss during a wild card week that it really doesn't matter, you've hit your revenue, but sometimes, right, you send that very first email and you know immediately there's no way this campaign to these people, to this segment, is going to do this revenue or activate this many buyers. It's just not. I'm not going to get this many appointments from this campaign. I'm not going to sell this many widgets from this campaign. You have to have a backup promotion. Having a backup promotion can be the difference between hitting monthly, quarterly, annual goals and missing and falling flat on your face. Have a backup promotion, something that you believe that it will either hit the revenue target or it will allow you to hit a different target to rebound later in the month, right? So if this campaign's not working, I have a monetization campaign here. Maybe I run an activation campaign because I think that if I activate more recent buyers in month 1 or in week 1, that I'll double down and I'll get an additional promotional push or revenue push from the monetization campaign that I'm going to hit in week 3. You have to have a backup promotion. This is the difference between consistent email marketing success and routinely falling shy of your goals. So that's the 90-day calendar. You're going to do this for every promotion you plan to run. And we're spot checking all the way back. So we had the promotional planning worksheet. You had a number. You had some reasonable expectations or goals for those promos. You should fill out one of these for every promo you're planning to run for a month, and then go back and spot check. If everything as a target here doesn't add up to the target for that month with not only these promos, but with any additional revenue that we put in that category, any expected revenue, then you've already missed. You need to go back in and either move some of this stuff around, add additional promos, add additional segments to do additional promos to, or in some cases, lower your projections. All right, it's never fun, but it's better to lower your projections ahead of time than to set projections and miss, okay? Now, we'll talk about how to take this 30-day promotional calendar and turn it into a 90-day promotional calendar and how to take that and compound that into a year in the next video.